Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and today it's actually one of my favourite types of videos to make because we have some champion buffs coming in. That's right, you might have some of these champions and they are about to get better, which is just fantastic. Let's dive in. The first guy is not in this faction, right? He's a Banner Lord. Black Knight is actually getting a little bit of a buff, and that buff is coming to his Last Breath ability. You may know Black Knight because he does give himself unkillable if he takes more than 15% of his max HP in one attack. Well, this Last Breath skill is an AoE attack that does more damage according to the amount of HP this champion has lost. But on live servers, the way this has always been is that it's based off of attack. He does not have much base attack, and his A1 is based off HP. He's bringing healing and increasing defense. He's provoking. It just doesn't make sense to build attack on him. The buff that is coming in is this one here. The damage on Last Breath is now going to be based on HP instead of attack. So this makes him very interesting. Yeah, this makes him very interesting. It's definitely something to watch out for as well in faction war waves where he does show up, like in the Dark Elf Crypt, for example. So there in Doom Tower, be careful, because if you nuke this guy down, he goes unkillable. It's going to be a Skull Crown-esque nuke. This could be a really hard-hitting nuke. We'll see how it actually ends up when we see the multipliers and stuff. Right now, I don't know how much, but I expect this to actually hit pretty hard, and it makes him a much more useful champ. He's still decent, because he's got a good chance to provoke on the A1. Good for Magma Dragon, not bad for Hydra. And then when booked, this move is actually continuous heal, increased defense for 2 turns, on a 2-turn cooldown. So yeah, he's just become, I think, a much more interesting champ. He actually works pretty well unbooked. Obviously, if this is going to hit hard, you do want that booked for damage, and this is better booked. But yeah, there you go, Black Knight, the only legendary actually in this set being buffed up, but it is a nice buff. Next up, let's look at the epics. So myself and YST were actually talking about Juliana Romero. Just yesterday, we did our favorite legendaries on my channel. We did our favorite epic champions on YST's channel, where actually Juliana was his favorite champion from the Sacred Order epics. Well, she's actually getting buffed, and so is her partner, Romero. So Juliana back in the day was a clan boss beast, but she's really been power crept. She's really been just outshone. But let's see what's changing. Number one, we're getting a massive cooldown decrease on her A2, lethal partner from 5 to 3. And then her fire propagation move from 5 to 4. It's also going to remove all buffs. So if we check this out, her A1 is a double hitter that's giving her some turn meter. Her A2 gives herself crit rate, double hit, puts poison for 3 turns if she crits. That is going from a 5-turn cooldown to a 3-turn cooldown. Pretty exciting. I actually don't know how long this buff lasts. It's actually not clear. How long is this increased crit rate on for? I'm guessing it's 2 turns. If it is 2 turns, this makes it much better that now you'll be able to build her with 70% increased crit rate. Usually, because she gives herself this crit rate buff as part of the attack, it actually won't tick down a turn. So she'll open with this, and she should actually be able to keep increased crit rate on herself the entire time, which is pretty cool. It will fall off the turn she gets this move back. She puts it on before she does the hit, so it should be fine. I believe. And then it's like a permanent 5% poison debuff out effectively with this. Pretty cool. It does ignore 50% of the target's defense, and Romero's on the same team as well. So this just got a lot better. Then fire purgation, 5-turn to 4-turn, single target attack, removes now all buffs from the target. It's a full buff strip. And will also place, 100% chance when booked, HP burn for 3 turns, now on a 4-turn cooldown, so much easier to keep the HP burn up all the time, and just giving her a stronger move. This is actually kind of interesting. Like, she could actually become quite a decent champion, I think, if you pull her early game as a big single target damage dealer, right? This move is going to smack. You can build her with a lower crit rate, bringing some poisons, bringing some burns. Obviously, I think it's going to be difficult because of this A1 to tune her into like an unkillable style clan boss team, but it's not impossible. She's definitely an interesting option. One to watch. Crit rate in arena battle still pretty bad. She's definitely built as a nuker. There you go. Next up, let's jump over to Romero, her partner in, I was going to say crime. It's really her partner in love. Yeah, something like that. All right, well, for Romero, we're going to look at Aina next. Sucker is going from a 5 to 4-turn cooldown, so 3-turn when booked, and the buff steal's getting buffed. And then he's also getting cooldowns buffed on Divine Benefaction. It's getting better, and also going to be giving him more defenses. So if we look at him, what's he all about? Defensive champion, you can see he is very tanky. He's coming in, he's putting out continuous heals in his A1. That's not changing. Now, Sucker, his A2, 1 turn off the cooldown on this. It's putting out continuous heal on all allies. That's going to go down to a 3-turn cooldown when booked now, and it's going to steal a buff from every single enemy as well. Definitely for faction wars, you know, that sort of thing. Stealing a buff from everyone is going to be good, and it's going to make him like actually pretty decent for something like Hydra as well, right? Continuous heal on everyone, steal a buff off the enemies, you know, steal off that increased attack, steal off the ally protections, the reflect damage. There's good buffs in Hydra, not that many out there. But stealing them off, it's a useful thing to have. Then it's A3. This is also getting the cooldown going down, which is a shield buff on every ally, equal to 25% of their max HP. So a decent shield. It's going to be on a 4-turn cooldown now when booked, and puts the big version of increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. Interesting. He's got this cool secret skill as well when Juliana is there, which is an AoE attack on all enemies 3 times. Damage based on defense. It's intriguing, isn't it? It's going to obviously up his own damage to nuke there, which is pretty cool. I'm definitely intrigued by this. I think for faction wars, for an early mid-game account, these 2 champions in combination could be pretty cool, with Juliana being a powerful single target champion, very good against bosses. Romero being like basically sort of a tank, healing the team, protecting the team, and then actually even having a nuke as a sort of special partner skill. Pretty intriguing stuff. I do think Romero could actually be pretty all right for some Hydra stuff now as well. He gives himself increased defense. He's going to steal some of those buffs. He could be quite a nice sort of pseudo Hydra tank that is mischief tank. I mean, that is providing you with quite a bit of sustainability for your team. It's something to look into for sure. Pretty exciting buffs. Then the final champion that is being buffed is Aina, who I don't have. Just never pulled her for some reason. And again, she's got the same thing where her cooldowns are just really dated. They're just very long. So if we look at what's being changed for her, better chance for extra turn on an A1, 5-turn to a 3-turn cooldown on Bloody Swath, and then 5-turn to 4-turn cooldown and healing herself more on Overmaster. So we check out her skills. Again, she is built as an attack nuker, got good base speed. A1, 10% at the moment chance of extra turn. That's going up to 15%, so it will be 20% chance of an extra turn when booked on the A1. Quite decent. This is a really big buff. Single target attack here, that is a 100% chance when booked of putting weaken for 3 turns. That's going from a 5-turn to a 3-turn cooldown. So she can keep weaken up on a target just on cooldown. 3-turn debuff, 3-turn cooldown, which is awesome. And then this is going down to a 4-turn cooldown, which is going to put decreased defense and healer by 30% of the damage inflicted. Again, I think that's also really cool. I think that, you know, for a few of these champions, really, these epics, a lot of them are really going to help out newer players, especially in Clan Boss. This is a great Clan Boss champion early in the game. Yeah, the extra turn thing is going to mess her up with unkillable teams. But when you're starting out, coming in with the weaken, coming in with a 3-turn decreased defense on a 4-turn cooldown, that's going to help her stay alive as well with the heal. I think that is fantastic. So that's a great thing, a really nice thing to bring in. So there we go. Those are the buffs from this patch. What do you guys think? Yeah, as always, I think it's always great to see these champions being buffed. You know, it's always more targeted, of course, at earlier and mid-game players with the epics especially. I'm certainly intrigued, though, with the Juliana and Romero. This is definitely like a tandem duo that I think is going to be worth revisiting and seeing how do they actually stack up now. You know, end game, obviously, I'm sure if you're an end game player upset about this, it's like, you know, it's just not for you, is it? It's not for you. It's okay. Not everything has to be. But I think, you know, if you're early mid game, pretty nice changes. There you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.